Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
What's up guys, Dave here.
Okay, so in today's video we're going to be doing a rerun of my
Run it back, yeah.
immigration journey, just because majority of the persons are saying that the video was too low and they couldn't hear as well. So we're going to run through. We're going to run through everything again for maybe we'll find new people, and then just like persons who want to rewatch or anything like that, I'll leave a link in the comment section for them to come to this video. All right,
Link her up, yeah.
So let's go.
Already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My body soul got a king body. Body gon' shine, bling bling body. Calling all the shots, ring body.
More than 15 minutes early, because you can't go in. More than 15 minutes early.
Right.
12:30, we got there way before 12:15. I feel like just so we could sit and chill and wait. And I think I got like some food.
Snacks, yeah. Right.
Just chilled, and we weren't like testing each other on the stuff, because you don't want to be last minute doing that stuff, because it's gonna mess with your mind. The guy come out, the officer.
Okay, so it was
everybody was outside waiting by the door because everybody was getting antsy. They were like, and it was cold.
So then the guy comes out. He said the group instructions as to whether you have anything that's harmful, guns, stuff like that.
Food you can't bring out. He said food, drugs,
just
stuff.
Gave you the rundown. So he did his group speech with everybody by the door, and then he asked us individually now to come to the door, and then there was a COVID-19 thing you read, answered, have you been exposed to COVID?
Checked it off, and we're like, no.
No. And then you get to go inside.
Yeah, and you go through like a good old fashioned, TSA big screeny thing, metal detector type body screener thingamajig. Bag.
Your watches, metal stuff.
Had to take all that stuff off for sure. Shoes?
Was it shoes?
Maybe.
I don't think shoes.
No, I don't think shoes.
But your belt and just anything metal and all that. So after you go through the scanner, you get to another lady, and she's checking your temperature, and they give you 4 checks to make sure that you don't have a fever before you go in. The other thing is you need to remember to take your notice. Your notice that you get from the USCIS, you need to make sure that you walk with your notice, just to confirm to the person at the door that you are supposed to be there and you do have an interview on that day. If you don't have your notice, I don't think you can go in. So you need to remember to bring your notice. So that's one of the first things. And then they ask for my ID.
Well, you went through the door and you went to like the front desky part.
Yeah, from the temperature check. And we go to the desk, the front desk, and she asks for my ID. She takes my picture, she takes my fingerprint, and then she sends us to go sit down and wait until our name is called.
Yeah, it was a big room with like every individual single chair, like we couldn't even sit together. It was spaced out by like 6 feet, so we just sort of near each other, and there's a big wall in the middle that's close up, because I guess some people went to these people and some people went to that people, and they just were like, keep everybody separate and nobody get COVID or whatever.
Alright, so we went to the bathroom, and I started reading my book. I read one page of my book, and by the time I read
10 minutes, maybe.
So around 10 minutes for real. And then the person was already out, called my name. We both get up and go to her office. Our immigration officer was African American, and she was a little bit more, tense. She wasn't super overly friendly or anything. I know some persons say they have like overly friendly immigration officers.
It's very much there to do business.
Yeah, ours was very stern, and
it was just a regular like business office like you would see in a business park. It was just like, this building, and this is where we do the interviews. It wasn't like an interview thing like you would imagine like on police shows or something or other, or like with a table. Just a regular ass desk in a regular ass office. She had the plexiglass on her desk because of COVID or whatever, and it was just 2 little chairs and a room smaller than like the room we're even in now. It's like little room. What is it? You could touch the wall. Little room.
Okay, next thing. What happened after?
Okay. We had to swear in like a court. There was that. That was the little policey kind of part. First thing we had to do was stand up and right hands out and swear. Did they have a Bible or was it just swear?
No, it was right hands up.
Right hands up. It
Right.
was just like this. It
Yeah.
was just swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and all the truth parts that are truthful.
Right.
You know?
Okay, next thing
And
happened.
then she had us sit, and then she took like some time, was just like going through
Yeah.
the paperwork and just letting us sit there and like get nervous. I think that she was doing that on purpose.
Pretty
like she
much.
didn't look at our paperwork before we wrote this in.
I was like, let's see
Yeah.
what this is about. She asked, no, the first thing she asked us after it was like 5 minutes of silence, was if we are wavering the
Oh, yeah,
right
yeah.
to our attorney,
Being present.
because our attorney didn't come to our interview, and she asked, are we going
Well, she
to
probably has to ask everyone that though. So she confirmed our IDs again, looked at our IDs. I think she asked us some questions like about the ID while she was holding them maybe.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I don't 100% remember.
Yeah. And then she got into like some questions about like our families and asked me about your family, you about my family, stuff like that.
How much brothers I have.
But she wasn't super isolated, like you only asked this question, you only asked that question. And that was kind of a theme throughout. She never really isolated. Oh, she did say, back up, rewind. First thing she said
Oh,
after the Lord thing was that okay, now I'm going to ask you some questions and then I'm going to separate you. So she separate you. Well, she was.
yeah, she said
I think she
that.
tried to scare us, see how we react. Yeah.
And then we both were like, okay, fine. And it's whatever. And then she decided to not separate us.
She didn't decide there. She just never
Ended up.
whenever she decided. I guess she
Yeah.
got enough throughout the interview. How long was the interview? You want to say an hour?
It was like
40
an hour, yeah.
yeah.
45 minutes or something like that.
Between going in and coming out was like a whole hour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, she never even isolated us to answer strictly on the questions. She would look at us and ask, but then like we helped each other some. I mean, we tried not to, but we also just
like,
couldn't.
She was asking the question, so we were just like answering. Like
Yeah.
whoever wanted to answer, just answer.
Nudging each
That's
other
all.
along sometimes. It's like a lot of joint answers. So she asked about each of us, like the other person's family, and then they asked about like how we met and our first date, and it's like each of us like different ones to see if they kind of matched up.
Yeah,
You know?
and like who
It made sense.
who approached who.
Yeah.
Where was our first date?
I think she wanted to see if like we were looking at each other to figure it out, or if we just knew it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's what, I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. So she asked like who initiated it, what month was our first date.
Yeah. A
all
lot of
that
timeline
stuff.
questions on that, like where we went, what we did.
Mm-hmm. So we had our pictures, and she would look through our pictures, and if she saw something that was interesting, she would ask us, what was this on this day, what happened here, and we would answer those questions. Then based on our answers, she would have another follow-up question based on that, and she would ask
Same
all the
with-
information
You go.
all the information on the I-485. You need to know what you put on there. Obviously it's your information, but you need to remember exactly what you put on there, because those are majority of the questions that they ask you. Whether or not you were married before, whether or not you have children, whether or not you what's your mother's name, your father's name, date of birth, all that stuff. So
She's looking for
those are the questions.
inconsistencies between the paperwork and what you say, I think.
Right.
And then, same like she was saying, like if she asked about the date or whatever, she'd ask a follow-up, where'd you go, what'd you eat, how did it go, this or that. It was like, whatever she asked led into another thing. So like if there were any holes in her story, I guess, or whatever. Then she went on to more family stuff.
Addresses, where you lived before.
Previous marriages. Stuff like that. She asked you to think about your divorce.
Mm-hmm. If you have any kind of personal thing, I'm not going to say exactly what the thing was again in this video, but if you have anything that is specific to you and it's different, like you did something different or whatever the case might be, you ended up coming here on a certain time and you went back on a certain time, whatever it is for
Like
you,
if you don't have like just this picture perfect storybook,
right,
basic marriage, you
right,
know, it's like,
and you have anything specific to your situation, she's gonna ask you about that. So make sure you
like,
have
why
that.
was it this? How did that happen? What was the reason for that to happen?
Right.
You know?
So just think of anything that you know is not something that everybody else is doing. Your personal situation. Think about that and then make sure you have your answer to that. Don't make anything up, just tell the truth. But make sure you have your answer ready so that you don't look like you're guessing, you're iffing, you're budding, maybeing, you know your answer.
And don't even try to guess it for, but just
Right.
just let them know you're unsure and you don't want to give the wrong answer because you don't want to seem like you're lying later, because she's going to come back around and try and bring something out.
Right.
And she had a big folder and binder with like tabs and everything that we had given ever. And she was very serious. She had a finger protector, so she could flip the pages without flipping them. And
Very intense.
Yeah, and then she gave us the chance to give any like new stuff that we had since we sent the stuff in, like the time between, you know.
Yeah, pictures, new pictures, because when you send the pictures in, there's going to be a gap between that and when you actually do your interview. So whatever you did during that time, she wants to see pictures of that if you have any. She asked about your finances. Do you have joint bank accounts? How's your bills, your utility? Like, how much are they?
Average and stuff.
Your
like
average, what type of, what's it called? What else? Your credit cards.
Yeah,
all
your financial information. That would be pretty much obvious that you would know.
Yeah.
And then she started asking us about like what happened in the week/weekend leading right up to us, just like what we did or when we went to work, just like everyday stuff that you don't think is gonna get asked, so you aren't focused on it. You know, so it's like because you're so focused on the questions and the meeting and preparing that you aren't thinking they're gonna be like, oh, what'd you have for lunch yesterday?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that kind of tripped us up. We were like, huh, what? Food?
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're focusing on what you did that week, like you said.
Yeah, and just try to be honest. If you can't remember, just be like, we did this or that. It kind of melded together, you know? It's like, and then she let us kind of help each other. Or it was like we were having a conversation and she was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like she was interviewing us so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, she asked, like you said, stuff about weddings, trips, each other's parents, whether we had met them. Basic stuff you would expect. That's like the basic stuff. Where we lived. And then if there were any errors in like the paperwork or whatever, she brought that up and she was very like, if it didn't match, it's like, look at it. Why does it not match? That's what she did.
Is this not yours?
Is this your name on here?
Oh.
Why your name not on here?
Oh, so I tried trick me. Trick, I tried trick.
And then she asked the same question back like 10 minutes later, and we'd be like, but we just, and then she'd do that again like 3 or 4 times just to make sure, I guess, or whatever. Anything with dates, she kept asking the date again, you know, just to make sure the date was right. She asked about health insurance stuff, like stuff you would do as a family, you know, health insurance, life insurance, that kind of stuff. We said bills, credit. And that was
pretty much our experience.
And she's like, I'm gonna review it and get back to you. Yeah. But then she was in a much better mood at the end, so it kind of seemed like we were fine, you know. And she never separated us. We're like, are we getting separated? She's like, I
don't think I asked. We didn't ask. So pretty much, if you don't know something, don't force an answer. Just tell the truth. If you don't remember something, say you don't remember. Don't make up anything. Because you don't want it to come back around and it be like, but you said this just now, so what are you talking about?
I mean, as much as it's an interview, it's like just treat it like a conversation, kind of, you know? Yeah. It's like... And don't get nervous if she tried to pin you down, because that's what she's trying to do. Just try and answer as best you can, and you know. I think she was also trying to see like our dynamic, whether we really seemed like a couple is another thing. I think they're trained to look for.
Majority of the whole process is just making sure that you are actually married. You're in a legitimate marriage. You see each other every day. You're not somebody that paid somebody to get married to you. You live in a different state. The other person lives in a different state, and then you went to the interview together trying to bamboozle them.
I really think that's what did it, is like our interaction. I feel like she could tell that. Like, even like if I was holding your hand, or like just the way, like if I messed up, the way you treated me like a wife would.
I don't think like people should go there and be like overly affectionate.
A public PDA person, but
even if I was, I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I was doing it absent-mindedly. Like if I put my hand on your leg, or like I was holding your hand.
Because that's what you do all the time anyway.
You just do it absent-mindedly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for the interview process. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Bye.
Doses.